Hello, welcome back to the Roast Mortem Podcast. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm Tom.
No one.
Yo, I'm Travis Stock.
And I'm your Cody for the evening.
Yeah.
Where's that other guy?
Yeah, where?
You guys want to know where Mike is? He's in Philadelphia. You want to know when I found out?
Is he calling in?
No, it was an hour before we started recording.
Oh, he's in West Philadelphia. Born and raised on the playground is where Mike is.
Love Park is shut down.
Is that where skaters go? To Love? Oh, let me take you out to Love Park. Skater girl.
This is what we deal with at Roast Mortem. We have a multi-million-dollar industry just talking to you people, and Mike can't show up to work. We're paying for his car. He's got a company house. He's got all... This dude's ruining
He's got
us.
a dormer. He's got a dormer on the South Shore. Just built a dormer.
Come on, Mike. The only reason he doesn't record from his house down there is because he refuses to pay for the internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one thing that we will not pay for, and he won't do it.
No.
We got him a boat. He's got a boat from Roast Mortem money. We just give it to Mike.
The boat from Roast Mortem money is more of a raft.
Yeah.
I made it at Home Depot.
Still a boat.
Let's be honest, Tom. It's not a boat. It's a raft.
All right. Look, this isn't about honesty. This is about black and white. Who's here, who's not. Guess what? He's not here. He's dead to me this week.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Same.
He's
So tonight we're roasting Mike. How's everyone's weeks, dogs?
Dandy. Good. Fine. I'm feuding with one of my neighbors. She's butthurt that I walk my dog past her house too much and I don't pick up my dog's piss.
Pick up your dog's piss?
Yeah.
Oh, because the dog piss burns holes in the lawn, right?
Yeah, it's the fucking ooze from TMNT, and it'll just mutate her fucking. It's not even her lawn; it's public property, and she's just this vile hag that like gets up on my grill for doing nothing wrong. I can see the thrombosis setting in to her shitty physique, and it's like, oh, she's in for an early grave, and I'm just there walking a chihuahua, having a blast, spreading her piss everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, she'll be
my week.
She'll be dead. She's already dead. She's just a pulse.
Oh yeah, to me,
as they say, dead from the neck up.
Totally.
Cody, you know what they say about how like a million spiders crawl in your mouth while you're sleeping?
Yeah.
Does that happen
exactly
with
what you're
geckos in Hawaii?
No.
Just burrito-sized geckos climbing into your mouth,
Oh, what a fucking nightmare.
Well, a little gecko in your mouth in the middle of the night?
Yeah, trying to save you 15% on car insurance.
Yeah, I was thinking about Gex, the suavest gecko ever.
Oh, he's smooth.
That game plays like shit, by the way.
Shut up. It looks cool. He lives in movies.
Great.
That gecko is welcome in my mouth.
Oh, that's disgusting. You're done with your week. Ugh.
Yeah, Tom, how is your week?
Good. We, Cody and I actually did the Rich Dickman show.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Mike was there, but he's dead now, so who gives a shit? But we're on the horn with Rem and Ray, cool dudes. We had a
very cool dudes.
Great talk with them. That's where Rem found out I did WWE music, and I heard a man get wet for the first time.
It was weird.
Yeah, I'm sorry
weird.
I couldn't be there. I had a medical emergency. I stapled my butthole together. So,
wow, you told me you had your penis stuck to a flagpole.
I did. I mean, I was off.
Which is true, or both of them.
It ended up costing more to unstaple my butthole than to get my dick detached from the lamppost. So
I understand.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah, so we did that, and podcast stuff. That, and then we're all doing Mighty Morphin Power Hour with Riley this week.
That's coming up.
So that'll be a good time. On Monday night, I went to a Christian halfway house to talk about Christian death metal with my other podcast, Heavy Hole.
What?
Nice.
So you was like Monday Night Raw with Jesus?
We got into this house. There was about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 people there. At least half of them wearing Team Jesus shirts.
That's weird.
They were very nice, but they were also, let's put it this way, we got prayed for that night.
Ooh, you Satanists.
There you go.
You Satanists, you.
Yeah, we talked to a gentleman named John that knew way more about Christian death metal than I even knew was a thing.
Wait, but there's like, because when I hear Christian metal, I think of like, yeah, but there's like death metal.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll know on your episode.
So I'm just praying they don't listen to this episode because I can't talk shit about them on the other thing because they have that RSS. They were able to figure that out. And then also
they're learning
in heavy metal terms for my week. I had a fun week, but one last thing. I went to Lucky 13, which is a strip club / bar / venue that is like, it's like Applebee's but for metalheads.
It is one of the coolest venues I've ever been to, and I accidentally put my tongue on the stripper pole once.
How does that accidentally happen?
Well, you know.
No, I don't. That's why I asked the question.
I didn't realize it was a stripper pole. I just like licking things.
Okay, so you just lick poles.
It's on the bar. I thought I was on the bar. I thought it was like a nerd's rope or something.
Yeah, because we know how those are with bars. Nerds ropes everywhere for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm there with Gabby, and I have to tell her, I'm like, I'm really glad that your dad loves you.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with strippers.
No,
They're performance artists.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Lucky 13 has more going for it than just the strippers, but if you go to a strip club, that is the worst place to sink your money because you're throwing money at a booty that you will never see or get.
I mean, yeah, you'll see it, but it'll never be a private show unless you
pay more money.
But yeah,
if it's what you want, then it's fine.
Yeah.
It's dancing on the edge because the next edge is risking taking a woman out for a free meal and then getting nothing. That costs the same.
Yeah.
So my week was filled with shit and good times. Travis, how was your week?
My week had some things that happened to me. I think I might need to change my profession to Spider-Man. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Spider-Man?
Pro Spider-Man. Okay. Like, if you imagine like a BMX boy that go over like 6 jumps, like, hell yeah, dude, I'm on a bike, doc. But like me with ropes, I'm just shooting ropes. I'm jerking off shooting ropes.
I hate to break it to you, dude. That doesn't pay a lot.
Dude, it pays so much, dude. I'm gonna be like next Tone Hawk of Spider-Man. Pretty much.
A Peter Parkour.
Yeah,
oh
Peter Parkour.
Don't put me as a reference on your resume. I'm not going to fucking talk to anyone.
I already did, dude. They're calling you tomorrow.
Oh. All right, so we've been talking for a while. No one that listens to this podcast cares about us. They care about who we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know that. So who's on the chopping block?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. Tonight, we are going out to the Wild Wild West where giant spiders happen and they got robot arms. And like Will Smith is like, oh, hell no. Like, we're going Wild West, dude.
I love that.
Okay, cool.
So I got a little story. Before I tell you who this is, I got a story behind how I found this person. So on my cross-country trip, you can check out the whole fucking shit on Patreon if you're a fucking member. Plug that shit.
Oh, we love you guys. Yeah.
But on my cross-country trip out to Portland, I stopped at a preserved Wild West town in Montana called Virginia City. Now, Virginia City was one of those booming mining towns. And at one point, it had 30,000 people living in it.
Okay.
Today, it has about 100 that live there year-round. And maybe like seasonally about 300 that kind of come in during the summer and, you know.
Oh, nice.
Do they have Chinese food?
No Chinese, dude. Well, actually, there was a lot of Chinese there in the past, but they all left. They were like, dude, we got to go to... There's no General Tso's here. We got to go find where the General Tso's are.
All went to L.A.
So you went to a place that's named after a state, New Virginia, correct?
Virginia City in Montana.
Virginia City. So Montana, very sad, lonely state.
I love Montana.
You don't like people, that's why. There's just no one there. So you're there, and how do you discover this gentleman?
Okay, so the whole thing about the town is it's not like one of those like frontier towns where they like built, like a stupid ass, fort or something, and there's people walking around like, oh yeah. Basically, what had happened to this town was that it was just untouched for almost 100 years. So a lot of these houses were like time capsules. And around like the early 2000s, like 1990s, people have realized that all these people's shit and everything was still in the house, and they basically just opened it up as like a like it's almost like a preserved in time museum. Like they didn't retouch the buildings. They literally just like opened the door and put like a gate up, and then like maybe put some more like items in there that might have been like there at the time and some mannequins. But it was really
it's like
cool.
That Twilight Zone episode where you got off of the spaceship with two of those other Aryan gentlemen and walked around a perfectly preserved town from the 1950s, but everyone was standing still.
Yeah.
Except that one guy. I think his name was Elmer. But he looked more like a Fred.
There was an Elmer there. I met him he was actually serving drinks. This really white, very thick drink that I was drinking the entire time. It came in a squeeze tube.
You Bet syrup.
Yeah, You Bet syrup. Elmer's You Bet syrup. That's what I was drinking while I was there.
Yes.
So Virginia City's claim to fame is that it's the birthplace of Calamity Jane. Who?
Why is that familiar? Yeah.
Yeah, she was this drunk fucking Wild West shooter chick who we will double back and do eventually.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I did this.
They pronounced clammy wrong.
Yeah, Clammy Jane.
Clam Titty Jane.
Well, we'll talk about Clam Titty Jane later. You know, we'll talk about her another time. She's
good.
An
I'm
interesting
excited.
Character. But on this tour, I learned about this Wild West badass that I'd never heard of before. A guy named Jack Slade.
Well, that sounds even badass. That sounds like a fucking franchise villain.
That guy's taking names and numbers, and he's not fucking backwards. He fucks forwards.
Yeah, and like that's his name. It's not like he doesn't have any of these like nicknames like Wild Bill Hickok. His name is fucking Jack Slade, dude.
Denny the Dippy Cumrag.
Yeah,
is that
so
a name for someone?
Dippy Cumrag's my name in the Wild West. When I was in Montana, if you go to Montana nowadays, you're like, "Where's Dippy Cumrag?"
I'm just imagining like an old school like tombstone, like here lies Dippy Cumrag, rest in peace.
All right, so I picked a book on this guy. I read about him, and I found out that he was an awesome dude, but also a fucking sociopathic dickhead. And he was one of the most famous. We don't know about him now, but back in the day, he was one of the most famous gunslingers of the time.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, you hear that, Bagel Boss?
Whenever I hear the term gunslinger, I just imagine somebody throwing their fucking revolver. Not firing it, just like being a public nuisance and throwing it at passing by stagecoaches.
Oh, my.
He's slanging it. All right. So keep in mind, most of these events have alternate versions. I mean, this is the Wild West. Everyone loves a tall tale.
It was covered by Fox.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the most widely accepted and verified versions of the events because the book I read had like 3 different versions. It was like, this one probably happened. This one definitely didn't happen.
It's like a boring choose-your-own-adventure.
Yeah. We actually know a lot about Jack Slade because Mark Twain had met him and wrote like books of the West in this book called Roughing It.
Nice.
But if we know anything about Mark Twain, he just exaggerated the shit out of everything. So, take it with a grain of salt.
Even his name, right?
Yeah, it was a little Twain boy.
Mark Twain.
What was a twain? It was a measurement to the bottom of a river. A twain is like 12 feet.
Twain means 2, and Mark is like some kind of measurement. So, like, literally translated, his name is like 40 feet or something like that.
He's talking about his peen.
Yeah,
that is a cumbersome peen.
That's a handicap, sir.
Yeah.
Have you seen the picture of that guy that like literally gets stopped at TSA because his dick is too big?
No, I haven't, but I need it.
Yeah, no, it's like a picture of him with his pants on. It looks like he has a fucking club in his. Surprisingly, he's a white man.
Why is he hard going through TSA? Is my question.
No, he's soft.
Oh my goodness.
I understand when people get hard going through the TSA because it's like a government-run rub and tug. They touch your body, they spread your cheeks, they go, "Excuse me, sir, I'm going to have to reach in here." And, like, not every therapist they have inspecting you might be your type. But,
no.
On the other hand, if it is your type, you're going to get hard. Especially if you watch a lot of exhibitionist kind of porn. If that's a fantasy for you, oh, man, I'm surprised we haven't lost more eyes at the TSA.
I'm all about x-ray porn, dude. I just love seeing the bones.
Spooky, scary skeletons?
Yeah, I'm into spooky porn about bones. All right, so let's talk about Jack Slade. He was born Joseph Alfred Slade in 1831 in Carlisle, Illinois.
There you go. Old-timey name.
His family was pretty well off. His father, Jack Slade, was in politics and had that big dick influence in Carlisle. His mom was pretty much like the model example of a wife should be in the 1830s, like Betty Crocker-esque, you know?
Nice.
Big tits, apron, yeah.
Yeah, big tits, not doing anything, really.
Her husband has like more than $70 in the bank, owns the whole town.
Wow. That's a fortune.
Yeah. Well.
Jack was pretty well, I mean, I said his name is Joseph, but he went by Jack. But Jack was pretty well educated. You know, he came from a rich family, and he was said to be pretty smart, got all straight A's. His father passed away when he was young and left his family pretty well off, though. You know, I mean, his mom got a big inheritance of like $60. And then remarried another politician. Because, you know, if you're a Betty Crocker type, you got them big titties, you got to like get in with the politics.
You have your own sway.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it's not hard to get perfect A's in dirt school.
No.
Dude.
I like that term, dirt school.
Might be harder.
You think so?
Yeah. You got to learn your
All right.
gazintas out there, man.
Yeah, there weren't TI-83s back then.
You don't have to learn your gazintas in 1800s America. The gazintas only came here later on.
The Germans
were
brought
Ellis
it.
Island. That's the Yiddish folk bring the gazintas.
Ellis Islanded over.
Yeah, that and
Yeah,
Cat's
exactly.
Deli.
They Ellis Islanded, but you know, you understand. You get off the island. I think I'm gonna move in here. Queens, Williamsburg, perhaps. That's about it. Gazintas to you.
Leave that yellow star there.
Gazintas and pastrami's. Sapamis.
Yeah.
All right, so Jack, at the age of 13, was starting to become a little bit of a Huckleberry Finn. Started to skip class. He started to hang out with the poor kids, getting into trubs and smoking cigarettes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's one of those white guys who use the N-word a lot.
Yeah, you could put it like that.
Maybe?
I'm sure his white friends were also probably white, but brown from the dirt and beatings that they got from their family members. Okay, so Jack started to refuse to wear shoes. He refused to clean his clothes. And while most of the town folk was like, all right, we understand, like, the poor kids getting in trouble, being all dirty because, like, they're poor. And they live from, like, you know, I'm sure they have a bad, you know, life at home. But Jack
It's their job to be dirty.
Yeah.
And roll around in the mud and you know, rip off old people.
That's what they
I guess
do.
boomers
It
weren't
was in
around back
vogue.
then, so America was pretty innocent.
Yeah, but Jack was rich, and he came from a rich background, and so everyone just gave him shit for being a little butthole. You know? Like,
Jack, you got a little semen on your toes. You might want to wash that off.
I'm good.
one day, Jack and his two poor kid friends were cutting class. They went off to the woods down by the creek. And there, they were all cool, like smoking some bogues. They were like, hell yeah, dude, look at me. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, I
Love it.
hated when you did that when we were in high school. I hated that was what you thought was cool.
What, me making that
Yeah.
sound?
Yeah, when we cut class and go smoke stogies, and you'd be out there going ba 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 ba.
We're trying to do this
God
on the
damn.
low.
Wish I didn't ask you to cut class, sir.
I know. I always got caught by Mr. Was this Rodriguez? Who was
Roberto. It was just Roberto. There was
Yeah,
no
Roberto.
Mister. That guy. Yeah, he had that little
it? Mr.
Roberto rolling around campus.
Yeah, and his
Oh,
fucking...
you kids are in trouble. I'm going to tell you right now. And
You
then
know
he just
how-
run away, and he's like, you got to get back on school property. I cannot take this golf cart off the property.
No, he had a pickup truck. You know how, like, in the Middle East, they just call pickup trucks
Yeah.
technicals? That was, like, the fucking Roberto
No.
technical.
Wow.
So, all right. So he's out in the woods smoking cigarettes. What happens when you smoke cigarettes? Like, what do you attract when you smoke cigarettes?
Smokey the Bear.
People looking to bum cigarettes.
That's right, Cody. Hobos. So out of nowhere, some hobo just like stumbles out of a bush, and he's like, "Oh, you stinky little cigarettes, hell yeah!" And he's like trying to bum some smokes, and then the hobo's like, "Hey, I can take advantage of these boys, and I can tell them like, yo, you should go steal me some food in town, or else I'm gonna tell your parents I caught you smoking."
Didn't he realize that they made the cigarette out of the bush that he was sleeping in?
Yeah.
So the boys were kind of getting nervous. Like They weren't sure if the hobo was bluffing. But like, you know, the hobo's like, oh, he's like started to laugh. He was like, you guys are gonna be in so much trouble, man. I caught you smoking bugs. And right in the middle of some like belly laugh, whack! Jack hit the hobo over the head with a rock that he'd been hiding behind his back. The hobo fell to the ground. Jack jumped on top of the hobo and crushed his skull with the rock into a mushy paste. Blood spraying everywhere and all over him and his friends.
Well, you know what they say, victimless crime.
You know what I love? Like, whenever I'm, like, smoking a cigarette and like, some fucktard has the gall to be like, you know that'll kill you. Like, I like to retort, like, yes. So is talking to probably armed strangers. And this is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Like, don't give smokers flack. Just let them smoke.
Yeah, any of our extra cool listeners. I mean, we only have cool listeners, but any of our extra cool ones that, like, you know, like ripping menthols on the side, someone says that to you, just say, can't wait.
You know, like...
No one wants to have that conversation.
One of my favorite presidents said, like, walk softly and carry a hard rock.
Yeah, that's about right.
Is that the guy who started the TSA?
Yeah.
A couple hard rocks?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Jack convinced his friends to roll the body into the river.
As you do.
Yeah, or the creek. And then he told them, don't tell anyone, dude. It's just a hobo. Like, we can just... Like, if anyone finds him, he might have fallen asleep on the railroad tracks and got his head crushed. Then he threatened the boys, you better fucking do it. Also, both of them are, like, everyone's covered in blood right now. This is like some Kill Bill shit. You know what I mean?
Thank God they're near the river.
Yeah.
Just jump in. Hey, Jack, what happened to your clothes? Not, maybe I was having a little gay sex with my buddies here. Maybe I'm not, like, as poor as them, but I still want to get my rocks off, okay? No one's going to talk about it.
So they all hurried home, and by the time Jack climbed in his window, to change his bloody clothes out, the sheriff was knocking on his door.
Oh, wow.
One of his friends had spilled the beans. So
fuck that.
Yeah. So now
fucking Heinz.
So now the sheriff is, he's dealing with one of the most distinguished families in Carlisle. And he told his parents, he's like, you know what? Like, Jack might get away with this shit because, like, he was a hobo. But, like, you're going to get, like, a lot of slack as, like, a political family. Like, you should probably just tell your kid to leave town.
Oh, so times have not changed.
So his stepdad telegrammed Jack's uncle in Texas. And within 24 hours, Jack was on a wagon to Texas, never to return home.
Wow.
All right. Who cares? Back then, it all looked the same.
Right? Slade goes out to Texas, and Texas at the time was the Wild West, rough and tumble. Nothing like Illinois. I don't know. Cody, you lived in Illinois, didn't you?
I lived in St. Louis, which is Illinois is right across the river.
Okay, so exactly. It was nothing like Cody.
Yeah. I wasn't alive during the 1840s, however.
Yeah. So by the age of 16, Jack could outfight, outshoot, and outdrink anyone he crossed.
Wow, look at that. That's a resume and a half.
Yeah. He was an incredible shot with the pistol, like supernaturally good. Didn't matter if he was sober or just completely wrecked. The dude could hit a target, from way longer than you could do with like a pistol.
He had a steady hand and an experience killing a vicious hobo.
His weapons of choice were the Bowie knife and the Patterson Colt revolver. If you're a gun person, I don't know what the Patterson Colt revolver is like.
Huh.
So in 1847, Jack traveled back to Illinois. This is after he's like a big ass, like badass in Texas. Mm-hmm. And just a few towns over from where he massacred the hobo, he enlisted in the U.S. Army.
Nice.
All right.
Now, we don't have any photos of Jack, which is going to make my job kind of hard when we come out with a picture. There's a sketched picture of him, and it looks really bad. Like I drew it bad.
Yeah, I like that.
But this is where we get like a first description of what this guy looked like, his build and everything. So he was 5'6". He was 150 pounds, said to be very muscular, dark complexion, black eyes, and light hair.
He's a scrawny little guy.
That's, back then they didn't eat as many servings.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't Nutella.
Yeah, that height is pretty normal because they were all smalls. Everyone was pretty small. Like when they say...
No, I mean,
oh, wow.
Dude, actually Americans were some of the tallest people in the world.
Travis, are you trying to step on what I'm saying?
I am, because fucking George Washington was 6'3", dude.
Wow.
6'3" was different back then. I'm 6'3". I could beat that nerd up. I'll give him his wooden teeth. I will show them.
Okay, so why did Jack join the military? I mean, it wasn't for any, patriotic pride or anything. The dude hated taking orders, but the one thing he hated more than taking orders was Mexicans.
Whoa, okay, yeah. Racist trend.
Right. Yeah, so America was actually in the middle of the Mexican-American War. And another reason why people think that he may have joined the military was because he was on the run from the law, and the military used to expunge your record when you joined.
Well, that's obviously it. I mean, his Mexican hate might be hearsay,
Maybe.
Wow.
So Jack only lasted a year and a half in the service. Most of the time he spent in the stockades for disobeying orders. Jack joined when he was 18 and left when he was 19. So instead of heading back to Texas, Jack thought, well, why don't I try my hand at the real American frontier? So he started to head real west, not even Texas west, more west.
There you go. Manifest destiny, Jack.
So Jack, his first stop was Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
Awful place. Really bad city.
You've been there, right?
Yeah, I have. Also, what I will say is Iowa City, awesome place.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of like New York. New York
so?
City is pretty neat. I mean, it's expensive. There's a lot of homeless, but there's things to do. And in Albany, it's just homeless.
And
Scantrons.
The city itself.
Yeah.
The city itself
so Des Moines is like
doesn't have
that.
a home.
And it's also like a giant corn stalk just in the middle of nowhere. Like you're driving on I-80, and you just see this little blip of a city, and you get closer, and then you're in it, and then you turn around, and you see it leaving you.
You see all those roadside advertisements for world's largest yarn ball.
Well, the world's largest truck stop is there.
Well,
fancy.
I'm not gonna lie. When I made my trip out here to Portland, I completely went around Iowa. I was like,
all right, whatever. Who cares? I mean, I don't know if we have any Iowa listeners, so
tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know where you're from, Iowa.
Vowel to consonant ratio.
By 1849, Jack was flat broke, cold, hungry, and out in the streets in Kansas City, Nebraska.
Okay.
But that is when he found his calling, and his calling was freight transportation.
All right, working man.
Yeah, a trucker pretty much of the 1800s.
Stop killing hobos. Yeah, stop killing hobos and Mexicans for a minute. I like this.
So one of the major frontier freighting companies was a company called Russell, Major, and Waddell.
Silly, I like it.
Yeah. So
interesting piece of music.
So if you were looking to transport anything from the east to one of the major frontier cities, which were Denver and Salt Lake City, you'd probably go through these guys.
Nice.
Now this trek, it was almost from the civilized world where it wasn't frontier to these major outposts was about 600 miles. And this was through the Great Plains, a place that was littered with bandits, rustlers, and the most feared of them, the Cherokee and Sioux Raiders.
Because they're going to scalp your bitch ass. They're going to make it happen. Take that scalp off.
Not only did they take your scalp, but a lot of times they'd find Teamsters on the side of the road with no dick.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, now I guess the question has to be popped now. If you were to live with one of those.
What, no
That's
scalp
tricky.
or no dick?
Yeah.
So which head do you want to get rid of is the question.
Dude, I think I'd look pretty sick with a bicked head and then the beard going on, you know what I mean? But my brain's kind of hanging out.
Yeah, your brain is out there. You could see the chips.
Yeah.
Their knives weren't exactly surgical precision.
I'm gonna agree with Travis. I would rather be scalped than castrated because, like, I can grow out the sideburns and then just man bun it back up so you couldn't even tell I've been scalped.
Yeah, that's true. And then you can move to L.A.
Yes, where all the gurus are.
It's guru time, baby. I got my dick. I am ready to fuck. Don't look at the top of my head.
So Russell, Major, and Waddle, which I'm just going to call RMW from now on because it's long. And
Why don't you just call them Waddles?
Waddle.
I like Waddles.
All right, Waddles.
Yeah.
So Waddles. Waddles needed, like, tough men. Tough men with nothing to lose. You know what I mean? One of those types of guys.
Like the guys from the Village People.
Yeah. The kind of guys who could take other men if they needed to.
Well, Jack was perfect because he was the M in the Village People, which means man.
That's what... You're actually right.
Shut up. I'm not right.
M in YMCA stands for man.
I'm not right. But anyway, he was hired for a handsome salary of $100 a month.
All right.
Whoa,
that's
dude.
not bad.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wish I could have that kind of money.
So Jack was out on his first trip. He was moving wagons from Kansas City to Denver. The other Teamsters, more experienced, laughed at Jack because Jack refused to carry a rifle. He said he wouldn't carry a rifle because they were clumsy. All he needed was a revolver and his Bowie knife. That's it. And the dudes were like, "All right, whatever. You're gonna die, but this stupid idiot."
More $100 a month for us.
Yeah. So
that's ballsy.
So the wagon made it about 100 miles west of Kansas City, and it was attacked by the dreaded Cherokee Dog soldiers.
Oh, wow.
You know about them?
No, but my imaginary head picture is like dreaming up of like a rejected 90s cartoon of just a dog soldier Native American gang that has
like
too much attitude.
Like Street Sharks, but with canines.
Yeah.
Work that into the title.
Yeah, these were like street...
Like Canine Corral. Let it go. And see what happens. We're a bunch of stray dogs. Woo, woo, woo. I only did that sound because I didn't want to put my hand on my mouth.
These were like, so they were like street sharks, but they were like the Cherokee Spec Ops. They were the meanest, fiercest warriors in the West. Everyone feared these guys, you know, because they're dogs. Like, yo, what up, dog? Dog soldiers be at it.
Got it.
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah. So the wagons were stopped at a creek to refill their canteens when the Braves came out over the hills, full charge, firing their rifles. The crew of these wagons ducked behind...
Oh, wait, hold on. Rifles stolen by the white man.
Oh!
Come on.
Horses
Come on.
also stolen by the white man.
Yeah, give these white guys a break. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They used... Who did it better? Who did it better? White men or Cherokees on the horse? Come on.
I feel like we're about to find out.
Yeah, there's got to be an Iron Maiden song about this. So whatever.
So the crew ducked behind the wagon, and for a second, Jack was like stunned. He didn't know what to do. He just watched one of his friends lose his hand from the shot of... I'm just going to call them Indians. I don't agree with the term, but I'm going to call them Indians because this is a fucking book I read. Indian rifle blew this dude's hand off.
Okay.
So this dude's like cowering for a second. He doesn't know what to do. Then all of a sudden, he just jumped out of cover, starts cursing, and he planted his feet in the ground, you know, all Western style, spread, you know, pointed his revolver out at the Braves, which were about 50 yards out, which is way outside the range of a revolver.
That's big, yeah.
Yeah, Jack lined up his Colt and bam, shot right in between the eyes. Right in between the eyes, by some wood.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's 1.5 football fields.
Wait, 150 or 50?
50.
Cody, you've never watched football.
No. Half a football field.
Dude, like the Jets could be like how fast does a jet fly, Cody?
It's got to be like 13 feet a second, right?
I am so glad we didn't invite Joe Namath on this episode.
He was all ready for us.
Yeah, is he chirping up again?
Yeah, because between Skechers and Roast Mortem, he is a busy boy.
So this guy hits an Indian from very far distance. And the Teamsters were like, how the fuck did this guy just do that? And so we have actual like people that were there that can confirm. It might have not been exactly 50 yards, but it was a fucking long distance,
I buy it.
So he kind of rallied everyone, and all the Teamsters came out, started firing their rifles. And one by one, Jack just picked off every single Indian off of their horse with his fucking revolver.
So there were 6 Indians.
Well, I mean, he might have reloaded. I don't know.
All right. That is fucking impressive, actually.
So
yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. He's just protecting these iPhone cases that need to be delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually the dog soldiers like, fuck this, and they retreated. So Jack strolled out to the fallen Indians and started cutting their ears off as trophies. Some of them were still alive on the ground.
Fuck.
Oops.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. Also, I just want to be clear. They're the bad guys in this story right now.
Seems like it. Well,
all right. So go with me on this one. So when they're the bad guys, which we're agreeing, you guys are having a hard time, but our listeners understand what we're talking about. When they're the bad guys, they're Indians. And when they're the good guys, they're Native Americans.
All right, well, they're Native Americans then.
They're a bunch of John Redcorns taking care of your wife while you're out.
uh-huh.
That's, those are the people that were victimized.
So one of the Indians that were fallen, Jack walked over to the guy who was making some noise on the ground. He was like, oh, no, hell yeah. And Jack was like, shut the fuck up, and shot him in the throat just to make him shut up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Throat shots like squeamish me out. It's just like, just shoot him in the head.
Right, yeah, exactly. So the next town that the wagon stopped at, Jack stopped an Indian man outside of a general store and asked him if he knew the Cherokee chief, and the guy did. So Jack gave him the bag of ears and said, I'd love to tell him this. I'd love to add your ears to my collection.
What is he doing with the ears? Is he like steeping it in tea or something?
Dude, he loves ears.
Did he clarify that he was not talking about corn? Because that's a very sacred crop to the Native American people.
You got to read the fine line.
Could have been. I'd love to eat your ears, please.
I mean, that would be fun. If he was able to cross those two,
I hear you make a fantastic Mexican street corn. I'd love to try it. Even though I hate Mexicans, said Jack.
Okay, good save. Good save, Travis.
So Jack quickly made a name for himself, and he worked his way up the company Waddle.
Got it.
Yeah, waddled his way up.
Yeah, he waddled it up. So he made himself...
Which is easy to do because people just die constantly. So as long as you're alive, you're getting promoted.
Yeah,
it's different than now.
He became a manager, then he became a superintendent, and eventually he was responsible for over 500 miles of trail. Now, How did he get all this company clout? Just being a vicious asshole. So unlike me, who gets all jolly and stupid when I get drunk, Jack was a nasty asshole. He was a real mean drunk. So it was a bit of a like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. Because while Jack was ruthless in his ways of controlling the freight lines, he always obeyed the law to a T. But when he was drunk, he just became a reckless, cold-blooded killer.
All right.
Now,
I feel like we all have friends like that, to varying degrees, of course. But
right,
we all know that guy that has like
who you're talking about. Yes, we all have that same friend.
God damn it! God damn it, Chaz! Why did you drink that bottle of vodka and now you're just humping a signpost,
making death threats to the post?
Yeah.
You give me rosé, I'm gonna be pissed at everybody.
Well, yeah, rosé is a fighting drink.
I can't even on rosé.
It changes my gender personality, and I become excuse the language, but total bitch.
Yeah, I flipped the Monopoly board and glassed the nearest fucker.
On this happened early on in his career. Jack Slade and one of his wagon drivers were necking some whiskey around a fire. The two got in an argument, and mind you, Jack is his, this driver is his employee. Like, this is a subordinate, right? Okay. It's like your boss comes up to you, and this is what happens. So Jack was just kind of itchy to fight. He just wanted to fight someone. And the wagon driver, Andrew Farris, was kind of like egging Jack on. He was saying like, "Oh, like what? You're so tough. Why? Yeah, right, bro. You're just an idiot."
I got more hair on my balls than you do, mate. You've got nothing down there. You fucking summer peach. You got a little fuzz on, and that's all you got, mate.
So
this is the Long Island equivalent of nipple bumping.
yes,
right?
exactly. So Andrew was like, "Hey, if you're so damn tough, why don't you shoot me? In fact, I dare you to shoot me."
Okay.
So without hesitation, Jack pulled out his Colt and shot Andrew through the heart. Yeah. After the man fell to his knees, dying, Jack cradled Andrew, saying, "Sorry, Andy. Sorry, Andy." But Jack was never charged for the murder because of some bullshit code of the West.
Well, he invited it. It was consensual.
Yeah, consensual shooting.
Consensual murder.
Yeah. All right, so regardless of Jack's drunken exploits, Jack was good at his job, brutally good. So that might be a reason why his company kind of like turned a blind eye to like him shooting people and doing this like skullduggery.
I don't care if he shot one of his employees. He got 90 pounds of sugar to the general store.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah,
Those
yay
people
capitalism.
needed that sugar.
So
Promote that guy.
He just pisses in bottles. It's fine.
So during one of Jack's missions on tracking down these wagon thieves, him and Jack's posse jumped the 4-man crew in the middle of the night while they were sleeping. So the first robber went for his gun, and Jack put a bullet between his eyes.
Fuck.
The others surrendered, and they laid down their arms, hoping they'd be spared. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna shoot you. Like, I just robbed a wagon, whatever. I stole a candy bar from the candy shop.
Yeah, turn me in, but don't fuck me.
So Jack ordered his men to fashion up 3 nooses. And while the robbers begged and pleaded for their life not to kill him, because they didn't kill anyone on this wagon raid, they were like, they just held him up and stole the goods. They're like, dude, we didn't kill anyone. Like, why are you fucking hanging me, man?
Just take my pants and leave me hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm vulnerable.
It all fell to deaf ears because Jack put them up on their horses, threw the ropes over a tree branch.
Oh, wow.
Had his men tie them off. Then Jack personally inspected each noose while the thieves were like sobbing, and then slapped the asses of each horse. And the horse shot out from under them. Remember, there's no neck break in this, so the robbers just slowly strangled from the tree.
No more you smooth brains trying to steal my grains.
Death by ass slapping.
Yes. This was actually Jack's preferred method of execution. And
that is inhumane.
And mind you, all of his victims definitely had a death boner.
That's true. Yeah, once the blood starts going, and your crotch is, you're being suspended by a tree. And your crotch is like eye level.
Right.
And you are rigging it up.
Yeah.
You are rigamortying.
Well,
David Carradine.
You're connected to the tree, and so your penis becomes like a branch, and it goes towards the sun or the moon.
Yeah.
Right.
You get literal wood.
Yes.
That's what rigor mortis is. Science doesn't tell you this because we don't like dirty parts, but it's all about our penis of the male being part moth.
Do you think that's
Goes
why?
towards the light.
Do you think that's why there was like whenever they did hangings, there was a bunch of people that like showed up. They're like, "Oh, I just want to see a boner. There's some porn."
I just want to see how big that dick is. I got
Also-
enough to do around here, but I can take 10 minutes from the ice cream parlor shop to come out here and see how big that dick is when you dead.
Also, they they void bowels apparently too. So
Poopy dicks.
that's a twofer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to see a boner and some bad guy shit his pants for free.
Yeah.
That's a good laugh.
So Jack
today.
Yeah. Jack left his victims on the branch, rode back into town, telegrammed the company, and said there will be no more robberies. And he was right.
That's very confident of him.
Wow. I like how he killed 3 fuckers and essentially filed a TPS report afterwards.
Oh, no, yeah, he was killing left and right. This was just one example of...
Wow.
So, yeah, Jack's methods worked. I mean, he tortured, killed, hanged robbers just to keep them out of this business. And, the parent company loved it. They're like, hey,
It's about what works. It's you got to keep it real. For example, roast mortem.
Uh-huh.
we're a history podcast, and I tell myself I don't need to get drunk every time. And here I am telling myself I'm not going to get drunk tonight. And
you're getting drunk.
It's about what works is what I'm saying. Yes. it's about what's most effective.
Yeah.
Results.
Thank you, parent company, Budweiser. Future parent company.
Yes, please. You don't have to just own us. You could be us.
Yeah. You did it for Post Malone. He's sponsored by Bud Light. Come on.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, come on. Hey, roast mortem. I'll take Camel too. You want Camel? That'd be cool.
I'm a Newport guy. You know me.
Shut up. You're going against your roots, Tom.
Sometimes the leaves are heavier than the roots.
Okay, so, all right. Jack pretty much scared everyone out of fucking this freight line robbing. But
understandable.
But Jack had a soft side. You see, Jack had found the woman of his dreams.
Oh, was it Grimace?
It wasn't Grimace.
No,
it was Virginia.
Okay.
Now we don't exactly know what her last name was because Jack had probably met her at a whorehouse, and but we do know.
Joke's on Jack.
Well,
she was never named Virginia. It was a stage name.
Yeah, but also whores made like the most amount of money in the West, so joke's on us, guys.
Well, joke's on I mean, we're Travis. This is old wealth we're talking about.
The only thing we really know about Virginia is that she was, quote, well proportioned. So I'm talking big ass, huge titties.
There we go.
And Jack was like, I'm gonna marry this bitch, and he did.
Oh yeah, back then they weren't into the shape they weren't into the Nicki Minaj's and Alexis Texases of today. They had a thing where it was like tiny butt because
she had a big butt,
room on
dude.
the bench.
Yeah,
no, only so much room on the bench. A lot of gut. A lot of front end, like you're only looking at one half
top
of the woman
heavy
back then. Let's get as much as we can out of it. I want to see that happy trail. I need a place to go. I need to bring Kowtow home.
Gotcha.
So they got married in 1857.
All right.
And she seemed to be the only thing that could calm this wild animal, Jack Slade. And one of the ways she did was arson.
What a lovely wife.
Yeah, so
administer arson like that.
Yeah, so Jack used to get piss-ass drunk at this local saloon near their house. So Mrs. Slade went to the owner and said, you got to pack up and leave town. And, you'd think like, oh, this is Jack Slade's wife. I would fucking get out of town. But the owner refused. So later that night, she showed up and just burnt the place to the ground.
Oh, arson. I heard arsenic like an idiot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay, so she's a firebug.
Firebug, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so around this time, Jack got a new employee, a man named James Williams.
Oh, okay. Nice name.
James Bill.
Yeah, James Bill. Jim Bill.
Jim Bill. Excuse me, Jim Bill.
Got it.
Jim Bill was from Pennsylvania, and he had gone out west to become a miner, but he fucking sucked at it.
He was over 18. It didn't work.
He likes spending too much time above ground. It's like, I like oxygen and sunlight.
So he decided, I'm going to, do the freight industry, because everyone's doing it.
Okay.
And obviously he had heard about Slade, because Slade was almost like a household name back then. Everyone knew that he was a fucking badass, taking ears and shit.
Yeah, dog.
And instantly,
melon.
he was lucky enough to end up in, as an employee of Slade. So instantly, the two guys didn't like each other.
Okay.
But again, Jack needed an experienced driver, which James was, and James needed work. So
makes sense.
Their route was between Julesburg, Colorado, and Virginia City, Montana. And now Jack always had that big dick mentality of, earning respect through beating the shit out of his employees.
Yeah. That's how I do it.
I understand. I've been there, dude.
I've been a barista. I mean, I haven't, but I imagine that's how it is.
I've had my ass handed to me by all kinds of wealthy men.
But James wasn't having any of it. James refused to work for a bully. Jack was like, I don't like this guy, so I'm going to put him at the back of the freight line, which the back of the freight line was the worst because that's where all the dust and shit gets kicked up. You're at the back of it.
Okay, yeah.
So some argument occurred because like James felt like he had it out for him, and all of a sudden, don't you know it? There was an old timey shootout situation going on.
Fuck.
Okay, Travis, before we continue,
Yeah.
when you introduced this episode, you were like, oh yeah, this guy's actually kind of cool. Get ready for a kind of cool guy who did some bullshit. What side are you on? What's going on?
I don't know.
The guy he wants to murder. He wants to watch shit burn down while his bitch is rubbed down with olive oil in the middle of town square. Like, that's his shit. And like, this is pretty cut and dry to me. This guy's a badass.
He's a badass?
Yeah. He's a badass.
Bad egg, bad ass,
Okay.
badass.
So that's
Just like, give him the badass thing. Don't go, oh, he did some bullshit, but he's also kind of cool. Like at the top of the episode, like I just said, we're here right now. This man is a badass.
all right.
How do you feel about badasses?
So these two badasses, Billy Jim Bob Boy and
Okay.
Jack Slade, they square off with each other, legs wide, eyes locking, and Jack was ready to gun down this idiot, and all of a sudden, draw! Before Jack could pull out his Colt, James was pointing his revolver at Jack.
Wow.
And this was the first time Jack had lost a draw. So
Wow.
So James slowly walked over to Jack and put his barrel between his eyes and said, and everyone in the wagon train was like, holy shit, this is like some world star hip hop shit. What the fuck?
Got it.
Yeah, wow.
Like a diss track.
He walks up to him, barrel on his head, and he goes, some people call me a cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love.
Yeah. Wow.
Some people call me Maurice.
Gotcha.
So this is when Jack turns into a little weenie man. He's like, yo, Jim, I didn't mean this to end in a gunfight. It would be a shame for anyone to die over a matter such trivial as this. We should settle this more like civilized men.
Oh.
Blowjob.
Right.
By sawing ears off?
So James lowers his revolver, puts it back in his holster, and then Jack tackles him.
He's one of these shit.
The two of them are rolling around, punching each other, and they get up, square off again. Jack goes for a hook to James. James sidesteps and punches Jack right in the nose, breaking it.
There you go. I would love to do that to my boss.
Jack then pulls his Colt out, but James was too quick and tackled him to the ground, pinning him. And James pulled out his Bowie knife and put it to Jack's throat.
Oh, wow. Fuck. This is escalating.
Yeah, so Jack then said, Jim, you're a heck of a lot faster and tougher than I thought. I might be proud. I'm mighty proud to have someone like you as a friend.
Brown noser, too. Look at that.
He just sounds like Dale Gribble.
Pocket sand.
I might need to use you at some point. Well, I'll tell you what. I wasn't ready for when he tackled me just the way he did like that. I'll tell you what.
Jim seems faster on the reflexes all around.
Yeah, so Jim says to Jack, he says, just to get one thing straight, just to get one thing straight,
It works, though.
I don't like you, Slade. I don't like the way you do business. And I don't like bullies, and I don't like talking from men that I don't like taking orders from men I don't respect. So from this point on, I'm in charge of the wagons. You work for me, and if you don't like it, start walking.
Huh.
And I also don't like pine nuts. I will pick you out. Do you understand?
So Jack, little bitch boy, is like, that's fine. And he obeyed James's orders for the rest of the way until they reached Virginia City, Montana with a smile.
All right. That sounds like a land mutiny,
Yeah.
if you will.
So James, when he reached Virginia City, he was like, fuck this freight thing, and he just stayed there. So Jack was like, whew, don't have to deal with this guy anymore. That's good.
Yeah. Where's HR when you need him?
Okay, so Slade, after this whole thing with Jimmy Bill, he goes back to his normal thing. He's brutally knocking off bandits, Indians, collecting ears.
Jesus.
Now, again, like the parent company, little Waddell, they're like, hey, this is great. Like, this guy's obeying commands of the employer. Like, he's making the freight safe. But not
There you go.
everyone was so honorable within the company. Enter a man named Jules Benny. And yes, Benny is spelt with an I, so we're talking about Benny from The Mummy.
Oh, good. He's got all the horses.
He does. So Benny was the station master in an up-and-coming town called Julesburg, Colorado, a town he named after himself.
What?
You
can just do that?
Why not? There's no...
Okay.
You can actually do that today. There's certain townships you could buy the naming rights to.
Okay, so Benny was a station master, like I said. I just repeated myself.
Okay.
But one thing that he was suspect of tipping off groups of wagon bandits at the times of the freight lines. Like, you know, he'd be like, oh, yeah, 2 o'clock or Vulture past 7. To the left of the cactus, you'll see a wagon.
And he was doing that presumably for a cut, not just to make his job a little.
That's right. He was taking a cut of it. So, the Waddell Company, the superintendent, a man named Fricklin.
Oh, Fricklin Propane?
Yeah, Fricklin Propane. He was like, hey, I'm going to send the best man out for the job, Jack Slade.
He needs more ears.
So now Jack was instructed to gather intel about Benny and confirm that he was actually robbing the freights before taking action. So like
a sting?
Yeah, so like a good employee, Jack went to the local saloon and started asking questions.
Okay.
Hey, Benny, where do you get this hot tub?
Where'd that jet ski come from?
I noticed you got a couple of quads on the property. That ain't cheap.
So he's asking around these like weird fucking miners with like 7 teeth. And they're like, I don't know, Benny probably a good guy. I've never even seen him before.
Collectively 17.
But Benny was actually tipped off in the fact that Jack was coming to town. And one of the henchmen at the saloon ran up and told him that Jack was snooping around the saloon, right? So when Jack exited this place, he's walking down the boardwalk, because back then they used to have the wood boardwalks connecting all the towns, right?
Fucking classy.
Keeps your dirt off your feet.
So he's walking down the boardwalk, and then bang! Benny shot him right in the back with a double-barrel shotgun.
Wow, that's more than a bang. That's a boom.
Yeah,
bam.
a little boomstick.
Onomatopoeia.
Boomstick right in the back.
Benny.
People rushed over. Benny calmly reloaded his shotgun and shot Jack again on the ground from 10 feet away.
What's he firing?
And then he did it again. He shot him again.
Okay. So that's, what, 6 rounds of shotgun?
6 rounds of shotgun. Now, Benny looked down at the motionless pile of gore that was Jack, spat on him, and then yelled out to his goons, bury him.
Well, that spit's going to start an infection, probably.
Yeah, you got to wash that
That's
out.
the end, right?
Yeah. No, because you didn't ask us, and we do have a
question
formula
didn't
here
you?
at Postmortem.
Should have asked you the question. I could have made it more of a surprise.
The people listening can see there's minutes left to go, or perhaps half hour.
Yeah. So, no, Jack lifted his head up. You know, he's like a fucking, just on the ground.
This is inconvenient.
He lifted his head up and said, I shall live long enough to wear your ears as my watch guard. There's no need to bury me right now.
And then Virginia came over and scraped him off the ground like a fucking pancake, chocolate chip pancake, just like, get on up.
With a huge dustpan.
So Benny was fucking shocked, and he started to reload his shotgun when the townsfolk grew a pair and decided to step in. Because Jack was just unloading on this fucking gore mess on the ground. You know what I mean? They're like, dude, I mean, you already shot him in the back, and now you're just going to fucking keep shooting this guy? Come on.
He's human haggis at this point. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Let him be human haggis. If that's what he wants to be, if that's how he wants to transition, then let him do it.
Jesus Christ.
If he identifies as haggis, you let him do it.
So the townsfolk charged Benny. They took him prisoner, and they decided to give him a good old-fashioned lynching.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. Classic bad
So Benny was hanged up on the telegraph pole.
Oh,
And while he was squirming up there, all of a sudden, Fricklin came into town, shot off a revolver into the air, and ordered the townsfolk to cut down Benny.
It's a good thing that boy doesn't sleep in.
So Ficklin walked over to Benny and said, "Benny, you're a rattlesnake and have no right to live, but I don't intend to be party to no lynching. If you promise to leave Colorado territory and never come back, I'll cut you loose. If not, I'll stroll away and let the crowd do what they intend to do."
Jeez. All right.
Well, it sounds like he did care.
Hashtag care.
Yeah.
No. He's just like, I don't care about you, but I'll tell you something I will do. You can walk out of here and be fine, but also don't care. So you want to stay here, you can get ripped open by these fucking miners so big they can rip your dick off with the Saturday afternoon's worth of punch. You understand?
I'm imagining like the pastrami omelet that Jack is right now is just screaming in agony in the background the entire time this conversation is taking place.
Give me your ears! Give me your ears!
How much exposition do you two need?
So Penny obviously agreed and he scurried off. And then Ficklin turned over to the period blood goop that was Jack Slade. And he was like, he thought Jack was dead because he's just fucking sitting there motionless. And when he
not drinking,
when he walked over to Jack, he kind of twitched a little bit, like kill me.
Towel yourself off, son. We got ears to take.
So Ficklin quickly rushed Jack to the doctor. Now remember, this is the 1800s, so the only anesthetic was
good doctor.
Yeah, the only anesthetic was whiskey, and so Jack being a seasoned drinker, I'm not sure it actually did anything, but they guzzled like a full bottle into his fucking shot up gullet.
I understand because I'm all liquored up right now, and if you took a few toes, I'd still be able to finish the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
I just imagine like the Bugs Bunny like Roadrunner type cartoon where like he takes the whiskey and it just like sieves out onto the floor through all his gunshot wounds.
Absolutely. So this doctor pulls out a few of the buckshot out of his chest, and the reason why Jack lived is because he was wearing a leather vest, and the leather was, I guess, good enough to stop the buckshot, kind of.
Okay.
Or at least slow it down.
It was barely leather. It was still wet meat from a cow.
Yeah. So after
that, because you need a little moisture to suck up that punching power.
Yeah.
You know?
After hours of poking and prodding, the doctor was like, "Nah, dude, can't save this guy. You got to bring him to a hospital."
Why wasn't that the first choice?
Right?
He's got a day's worth of buckshot in him. Yeah. And they're like, "Well, let's bring him down to the old Medi Center. See if they can put a few Band-Aids on him. See if he can walk home."
I think the first person, like in the old-timey West, they drag you to would be like the barber.
It might have been the barber.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Well, because hair is actually skin.
Yeah.
That's true.
What do you want, number 2 on your organs? You want number 3? What do you want?
You want me to fade this body part up?
Me to it.
Sorry, man. I just had to talk
fade
about
on
the fade.
Intestines.
I got to talk about the fade. I got to talk about my man Arthur been cutting my hair. He's got none up top, but he understands my height. You understand?
So remember, I mean, they're in Julesburg, Colorado. This is the middle of nowhere. So the closest hospital is actually St. Louis. And that's a 12-day journey. So Ficklin loaded Jack into the back of a wagon and started the bumpy trip all the way to St. Louis.
Why not bring the doctor to the flesh pile and not the other way around?
I don't know. Dude's like, I'm not going out of fucking Colorado. What the fuck's there? Legal weed?
Yeah, I guess.
I'll get fired if I smoke legal weed. So somehow Jack survived, barely. And they were able to remove most of the buckshot. Some of the buckshot stayed in his... It was either too close to vital organs or just too deep, and it just stayed in his body the rest of his life. So remember, that's lead poisoning off the bat.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be crazy. He's going to be talking to people.
Yeah. But it took Jack a full year for recovery. And when Jack was well-ish, he set out for his revenge.
All crippled.
Yeah, all like Timmy. So Jack set out from St. Louis late 1860. And remember, Jack was the best tracker in the West, so it didn't really take him a long time to find Benny. Benny had actually not been that far. Julesburg is right on the border of Colorado and Wyoming. So Benny had just basically gone over to Wyoming. He's like, dude, I'm here. It's not in Colorado. It's like right over there.
It's not that far. Also, for the time period, he's obviously not getting drafted for Civil War service because I don't think they wanted anyone who already had like a pound of lead in them.
Yeah, right?
No.
And also, I think you were exempt if you're like, oh, dude, that guy's fucking in the middle of nowhere fighting mountain lions. Like, fuck that. We don't want them.
Yeah, he didn't care Jefferson Davis or Abraham Lincoln. He didn't take sides. This guy was just out to make sure that the sugar got places it needed to be.
So,
what's really important.
So Jack and his posse, because he wrangled up a posse as you do back in the day, an insane one, the insane wrangler posse.
Gotcha.
So he wrangled up this posse. He went to Chasseau Ranch on the Colorado-Wyoming border, and that's where he caught up with Benny.
Uh-oh.
So Benny, he decided to tie him to a corral behind the relay station. And he studied him up and down. He was like, let me take a good hard look at you. Let me see what this boy is. Let me see what this boy's all about. You know what I mean?
Benny, I got a few words for you. One's a question. How you like them eggs? Fried or fertilized? And the next one is, I'm gonna kill you.
Yes.
That's not so much a question.
Yeah, that was the first one was for fun. The second one is for what I'm going to do.
So Jack, without a word, he didn't ask if you wanted him fried or fertilized. Jack pulled out his Colt and fired. But Benny jolted to the side, and the bullet just grazed his cheek like all samurai shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. So
Amazing.
Doing the anime protagonist wound.
Yeah, exactly.
You made me use 10% of my abilities.
I will send you to the next dimension!
You know, the anime bad guy looking down with his hair on his face and laughing.
Slowly cranes up.
So, that's all you got, Jack boy. I get a big old Western cream for you. I got a John Wayne style dick coming right for you. And my dick is made of poop. And it's gonna fuck you up your own ass. Understand, my colon cancer will be soon taking over your body, and you'll experience my pain, and then tomorrow the mailman will be dropping off. No, I don't know. Where does this go? Where does that go? I always tune out.
Watching?
I tune out halfway through every anime monologue. I just do.
So, Frieza,
No.
yeah. So Frieza,
Anime. It's not an anime.
Frieza has his bullet, graze on his cheek. And he like pulls a Nelly. But but all of a sudden, Jack has a change of heart. He drops his pistol back into his holster, and he told Benny, "Write your last will and testament." So remember, he's tied to a pole; he can't write anything. So Jack found
unless he can do it with his feet.
Jack found a man that had just gotten off the wagon from this wagon relay. He's like, "Dude, you know how to write a fucking will? I need your help, man." So.
Well, also back then it was more like, do you know how to write?
Jack knew how to write. Remember, he was all educated, but he was not going to write for fucking Benny.
He's beyond writing. He hasn't done that in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, at one point in my life, I knew something about algebra. But I'm a working man now. I don't need
Yeah,
that.
so Jack tells Benny, get talking. You have 2 minutes.
All right.
So the man wrote up Benny's testament, and then Jack was like, Jack signed it. You know, you had to have a witness. So Jack signed it. And then he was like, yo, dude, you just wrote this will. You want to go to the saloon? And so they went to the saloon and left Benny on the corral.
Just tied up still, waiting for death.
God damn it. I want to leave my sea-doo to my nephew, Gerald.
Uh-huh.
And I want to leave my hot tub to my nephew, Gerald.
Benny's all tied up this corral. Jack goes into the saloon with his buddies, starts drinking for a few hours. Eventually, Jack emerges from the saloon with a bottle full of whiskey in one hand and his revolver in the other. A drunken crowd of patrons had arrived, filled in behind him. Yeah, patrons that should go to roastmortem.com/Patreon. Patreon.com/roastmortemcast.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job.
So Jack took a tug of the whiskey and said, Benny, you're going to pay for bushwhacking me back in Julesburg. We're going to do this a little at a time so you know how the pain I felt over the last 12 months.
Holy fuck.
Jack then shot Benny through the thigh, and then he walked back into the bar.
Holy shit. Okay.
Jack went on a 24-hour drinking bender, periodically emerging from the bar to shoot Benny in another non-lethal place. Oh, wow. Benny received 22 gunshot wounds, and every time Benny would pass out, Jack would dump a pail of water on his head.
And the town is just
yeah,
watching.
Everyone's like, dude, people were like coming in on this like freight wagon, and they were getting off and like missing their next wagon just to watch them, like this guy just slowly murder this dude.
Like daytime television.
Yeah. Finally, after 24 hours and a huge crowd of people behind Jack, he decided enough was enough, and Jack put a bullet in Benny's skull.
Fuck me. After 24 hours.
Jack then took his Bowie knife and cut off both of Benny's ears.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Why did he do that?
I'll tell you why. One of his ears he nailed to a post at a way station, and the other one he traded to a barber for free haircuts.
Okay. I mean, having a human ear,
pretty cool, but having a fresh cut.
I feel like you can also make an ear into a coin purse if you need it.
Yeah, you could. Just fold it over.
You could do something with an ear. You might be able to use it as a coaster if you like leave it under some textbooks for a while.
You know those like weird coin purses that like you could like kind of poke them through? They're like made out of like that weird rubber.
You remember those toys in the 90s? They're essentially just a plastic dome.
Homies?
Oh, pop them, guys. You just like set them and they pop.
You flip them inside out and you put them on the table and you like wait a minute and they just fly into the air. I would do that to the ears, and just it would be a great bar trick.
Not every ear will be able to do that. Like,
no,
for example,
you need like an ear like mine.
Yeah, like a big ass Ernest Borgnine style ear.
Yeah.
So
my ears could probably do that if you chopped them off.
Yours would work. Leave that in the Hawaiian sun for a bit.
Oh yeah, tan it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, they can't be too dried out, or else they won't have that suck.
Yeah, they need the
Hawaiian breeze to like kind of loosen them up.
Mm.
So after Benny's death, Jack's life took a turn for the worse. So Russell of Russell, Major, and Waddell. Remember, I was talking about this guy.
Wait, are you trying to tell me that his life didn't take a change for the worse when he killed that homeless man?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, but now he's like...
This is the first turn for the worse that
Dude,
you got?
I mean, he killed the homeless man, and then he became like the richest guy in the frontier.
He became the Rat King. He was like, I will fuck all of you backwards. I got nothing. I had money. I left it on the table.
So Russell of this Russell, Major, and Waddell started the Pony Express. You guys know what that is, right?
Yeah, I do know what that is.
It was a famous mail courier service that was the first of its kind that offered speedy coast-to-coast mail. So Jack was in charge of operating the sections east of the Cascades, but like, west of, I don't know, Nebraska.
Up in them parts.
Although famous, the Pony Express was actually a financial nightmare and only lasted a year.
I remember hearing that, yeah.
During this time, Jack's drinking got even heavier. And the thing about when he got drunk, he kind of changes up a little bit. This time, he would ride his horse into saloons and start shooting every bottle and mirror in the place. The dude just had a fetish for breaking shit.
Andrew WK's adopted brother.
Yeah.
Alex WK.
I'm trying to imagine like the barkeep just enduring that for like the fourth time a week. Just like, fuck, he's back. Hit the deck.
We just put that mirror in, and these bottles are brand new. As you could see, I didn't even open them yet. Just started.
He actually
yesterday.
shot a barkeep one time because what they used to do if you were too drunk, you'd basically get the well drinks version of whatever you were asking for, which they kept under the bar. Like, they didn't keep it behind them. So the barkeep went to go grab dude, this guy's too drunk. Here's some rum. And Jack interpreted that as him going for a gun. So he just gunned down one of the fucking barkeeps.
Jesus Christ. So like every time someone twitched next to him, they got a bullet.
So all this shit went down, and Jack would always wake up like a few days later and like start apologizing, like, "Oh, sorry, I fucking shot your bar up. You want some money?" But
okay, so
I want
got
my
that
husband back, Mr. Jack.
so
here's 412.
So Jack got kicked out of Colorado entirely after a drunken night of killing someone's sleeping dog, and.
Oh, no. Leave the dog out
Yeah.
of it. Because, dude, like, it's 2019. Those are basically children now.
Fur babies.
And children's are basically types of vases that when they fall over, you just gotta pick them up.
Pick them up and don't vaccinate.
Then he resettled in Wyoming with Virginia, but his employer had said enough, and he was like, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna replace you. You're a dummy. Get out of here."
Oh.
And Jack was like, "I can't do this freight shit anymore. I have to live the straight and narrow life. I'm going to go become a farmer or rancher or some shit." And so he's like, him and his wife, Virginia, moved to the mining town of Virginia City, Montana in 1863.
Hey, okay.
All right. And then nothing happened there.
No, a lot of things happened. So
Gotcha.
Oh, good.
Jack did pretty well in
making sure we
Virginia.
have more podcasts to work with.
Yes. Jack did pretty well in Virginia City. He bought 520-acre tract of land. He started a ranch and became a dairy farmer, sucking that liquid gold of life out of them udders.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you just gotta suck that fucking udder and spit it into the bucket, I gotta take these cow germs and turn them into people germs.
Yeah.
Takes a serious... You know what I say to those people who do that today? Thank you for your service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
America loves you. Mm-hmm. Shortly after moving to the area, the area was hit by a drought, and local crops failed. So Virginia City, which is conveniently located in the middle of nowhere, was on the point of starvation.
Wow. Okay.
They needed someone to make the dangerous trek through Sioux territory and bring them supplies to the town. But they got Jack Slade.
All right.
And,
If he sees a Sioux, he's gonna sue that ear off that head,
Oh, being sued for ears?
"Oh my God, you touched my Mercedes with your penis. Now I'm gonna sue you. Give me that ear."
I'm suing the ear off your fucking head. I need something to hang on my rear view mirror, which is totally illegal, but for some reason we keep doing it. We got air fresheners just like an ear shape, Smell the pine I got on this motherfucker.
So Jack Slade basically volunteered. He saved the town. He was able to resupply them without a hitch. Local hero.
Okay.
All right, it sounds
There
like
you go.
nothing actually happened. Like, they were like, "Hey, can you go about 45 minutes west of here and get us a snack?" And he was like, "Yeah, I could do that. I'll bring back the whole Ritz box."
Old-timey Costco. man.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes back, the whole town's good. Shebang, shebang. We got the Hot Pockets up and running for everybody.
All right, so now I'm going to tell you like a little weird factoid that you can fucking tell people when you're drunk. You want to hear that?
Lay it on my yearning body.
So the modern Montana police force has its roots in a vigilante law enforcement group called the Committee of 100. Now, these...
Okay.
And for short, the Hannah Montanas.
Okay.
So these were a group of well-respected citizens that would meet in the middle of the night and discuss and deal with undesirables in their community. And like any group that meets in the middle of the night, they wore hoods.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
So when you say undesirables, you mean black people?
No, there was white folks. I mean, there was white folks, there was black folks.
Okay, well, you just laid it down like, these guys were hood-wearing individuals.
Maybe in Alabama, they're all, KKK'd out, but it sounded like in Montana, it was like, are you just a person I don't like? Let me talk about you in a hood.
Gotcha.
These vigilantes were basically judge, jury, and executioner. So if they wanted someone out of their town, they would write the numbers 3, 7, and 77 on the person's door. Now, if you had those numbers on your door, it meant you need to get out of town as quickly as possible because these group of masked men were going to come to your door and lynch you.
What? They were going to David Duke you out of town.
Exactly.
What's the significance behind the numericals?
I'm glad.
3, the Father, Son, the Holy. 777. We are one above 666. We are Striper. We are the best Christian thrash band in town, and don't you fucking forget it.
I'm glad you asked, Cody, because that was the next point of my script. Was that 3, 7, 77 were the dimensions of a grave. So it was 3 feet wide, 7 feet long, and 77 inches deep. Now, surprisingly enough, the state troopers in Montana, on their cars today, are written the numbers 3777, which is really fucked up.
Yeah. Let's not go to Montana anytime soon, boys.
Wow. That is a fun factoid. You know, I will start opening up at bars.
Yeah, right?
You're right.
Just that one factoid, though.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, Tom, nice to see you. I haven't seen you since high school. I'll be like, you know what the numbers 3, 7, and 77 mean? Come on, booked. Alex. Ask me.
I think we have a follower called Montana's Fastest Gamer. I mean, he's probably outrun the cops like 7 times.
Well, congratulations to Montana's Fastest Gamer. You're outrunning the right people.
They want to put you in the grave.
Stay away. Stay away from them.
Yep.
So
don't tell him you listen to this podcast.
After Jack had saved the town, he may have joined this committee of 100, but the leader of Virginia City was none other than James Williams, Billy Bob, the guy that had fucking bested him.
Oh my God!
Oh, you mean Jim Bill?
Jim Bill.
Fuck.
So Jack had a bit of an altercation at the local lumber supplier, and Jack had basically refused to pay the price the supplier was asking. Things got a little tense. Jack made some threats, and a local passerby had stepped in and paid the difference of what Jack was offering and what the supplier was asking, because he just wanted to de-escalate the situation. So Jack had thought that his past was behind him when he moved to Virginia City. I'm working on my hat kill too, City.
Uh-huh. And you'd think that Virginia City would be located in a place like Virginia, but I'll tell you what, it's nowhere close to Virginia, I'll tell you what.
But after witnessing this flare-up between Jack and the local lumber supplier, James Williams made sure to bring up the dangers of having Jack Slade in the community. Because Jack Slade sells drugs to the local community.
Oh man, this is King of the Hill, and like I was just watching before this episode, Dolomite.
Oh yeah, you
gotta keep the guns out of the community.
Jack didn't receive the dreaded 3777 on his door, but he was asked to leave Virginia City ASAP. Dude, get the fuck out.
Do you know why? I actually did a little bit of research before this episode.
Why?
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because wasn't black.
I mean, maybe. Or Chinese. They really didn't like Chinese there.
Yeah, but the Chinese, they just worked him to death.
Do you know, actually, one thing I learned when I went there was the Chinese were the richest people in town because they worked laundromat. But what they would do is the gold miners would go into these mines and they'd rip up, gold flakes and shit. And they would laundry out all of the gold and collect it in their pans.
Fucking look at that.
And they would have more gold than the miners.
Wow.
That is ingenious.
Jack was a little bit stunned. I mean, he was like, dude, I saved the town. Like, if you want me to leave, he didn't put up a fight. He was like, all right, let's leave. And like, Virginia, pack up shit again. We're kicked out of our third state. But then Jack started drinking, and heavily.
It's like I feel like he's just constantly drinking, but he just dials it up every so often just for kicks.
11.
Let's ride a horse and do a saloon.
Yeah,
Unload.
Jack got plastered, and he did what he did. He knows best. He got drunk, rode his horse into a saloon in the middle of town, started firing at anything breakable. Once
he walked into everyone's garden and started squishing the tomatoes.
Once he had smashed everything and drank his way through the saloon with him and his buddies, he moved on to the next, drinking and breaking everything. Jack then rode his horse into a theater and ordered the actress Kate Harper to take off her clothes.
What? I love this.
Virginia's out there all big-breasted like, you better just do it.
Just do it. We're
Trust me,
open.
honey.
Just do it. Just do it. He will leave you alone if you do it now.
I like to imagine he interrupted like the third act.
That's what he did. He was literally walked in the middle of this
there's a
play and he was like,
going on.
take off your clothes, woman. Like from the back row on a horse. Take off your clothes, woman.
I love laughing at these things because they don't happen that much.
Do it slow.
So he
Dance all sexy.
did
at me.
that shit. Then he started riding up and down the high street. He was riding his horse so fast that he made a milk wagon careen off the road into a ditch.
Awesome.
Wait, when you say a milk wagon careen, do you mean a milk wagon careen?
Yeah, like
off?
titties. They're
Yes.
just like big floppy titties on the road.
I just imagine the driver crying over spilt milk, and Jack's there just like, pussy.
Then he was also a dairy farmer, so like, you know, he was like getting them udder titties.
He's getting rid of the competition.
Then he went over to a woman named Molly Featherlegs that owned a body house, which is the name for a whorehouse. And he helped himself to some of the ladies without paying.
Oh no, I didn't see that
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Awful.
Tom, if your moniker is Featherlegs, what's your premier sex move that you get the patrons with?
Well, I come in with them feather legs and I spread them out and I get all beak tittied on you, you know?
Oh, beak
Let
titty.
you have it, and I create a nest and I spread my eggs upon your branch, if you would, to be kind. Display your branch and I'm nesting up on it. Give me about 8 months to let these little cardinals go.
Okay,
All
Featherlegs.
right, Tommy Featherlegs. That's great.
What a bad night. What a bad
So-
night I'm having.
It's debatable how long this lasted, but some people think it lasted up to a week of just Jack Slade shooting up bars, fucking hookers, like just riding up and down the streets.
I thought
Yeah, I
thought
mean-
you were saying his hooker like night lasted
No,
for
he
weeks.
probably
Like,
probably
just
lasted
didn't leave
2
the brothel.
minutes.
Yeah, and I was gonna say he can't go that long without drinking, so he probably ducked out to the saloon once or twice.
Let's be honest. This guy's getting hammered all day.
Yeah,
How hard is it to keep your dick hard when you're
That
getting
is
hammered
very
all day?
true.
It's hard.
Dude, you floppy.
Now
it's
throw
tricky.
about 8 rounds of buckshot into his back. Getting removed by medical science that has been unseen for
I
hundreds
think
of
he
years.
just has a dowel dick that he wrote Viagra on. Like he just shoved a dowel into his dick and then wrote Viagra.
Oh, okay, he sounded.
Yeah, a little bit of medical tape, just keep it up there. He probably poked a little hole between his bladder, he's just pissing out of his belly button, fucking everything.
Yeah, some buckshot comes out every time, just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you got one of my eggs, lady. You understand? They go, wow, this is horrible. I hate this job.
I don't get paid enough. I need hazard pay to fuck you.
All right. So eventually, Jack was in a drunken stupor at some point during the week and was apprehended by the sheriff. I don't know what the sheriff was doing up until this point.
Just being annoyed too often.
So Jack was taken to court where he was very apologetic. He had sobered up. He was like, I will pay for all the damages. But then the sheriff started listing off all the charges against Jack. And Jack just kept getting angrier and angrier. He's like, I did not do that. I did not fuck that stripper that way. I did not get on
That's
that
like when you're
Ski-Doo."
drunk at a bar. Yeah, that's like when you're drunk at a bar and you had a good day at work and you're just like, yeah, I'll buy a fucking ram for all my friends. And then you get the fucking bill. It's just like, I didn't buy this one for that guy.
Right?
I don't have $300 right now. You understand? I live on credit.
I spat most of this
So this
one
guy's
out.
getting the bill, and he's like, I did not get on that Ski-Doo with that stripper. I did not fucking touch that butt that way. I put like 7 pennies in her asshole, so that means I paid my bill.
I'll pay these monies, but you better come around with that change right quick because I have towns to move on to. I've got Dowling.
So he was
I
getting
need receipts for taxes.
he was getting more and more pissed, and eventually he snagged the paper out of the sheriff's hands, ripped it to shreds, then pulled a derringer out of his boot and pointed it directly at the judge's head.
That's
Wow.
We have bailiffs.
So the judge was held. He held the judge hostage and made his way out of the courtroom. Then he let the judge go. A friend caught up with him shortly after this and said, "You better get the hell out of town as fast as possible, or there will be hell to pay."
Yeah, I mean,
They already told him he had heck to pay.
Yeah, now he has hell to pay.
It only gets worse.
one step up.
So Jack fucked around the rest of the day instead of just getting the hell out. And eventually, a mob of hundreds of people, including miners that had put down their picks and housewives, had stormed into the town. And they eventually caught up with Jack, and Jack started apologizing to the judge. He was like, "I didn't mean to hold you up with my Dillinger."
My bad.
Yeah.
I like how
And
you.
one of the housewives out there like, he took a shit on my butterfly bush.
Yeah.
I like how you said the miners put down their pickaxes and their housewives, like they're holding their housewife while they were working. It's like,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
I gotta fuck Jack Slade's day up, honey. Get down.
Yeah, that's how.
Well, fiscally, yes.
Yes. So everyone was shouting, "Hang him, hang him." And there in front of about a dozen people, someone produced a noose, and Jack was reduced to a sniffling baby. He had begged and pleaded for them to let him go, and for that he would change and become a new man. Now, this is a story of a person that had, dry hung people for his entire career. There's one story I didn't include where he hung a bunch of Sioux warriors,
Jesus.
and they just received the news stoically and was like, "Okay, this is my way out." This wasn't how Jack approached it. He was just a hot fucking mess,
Ugly crying. I also just love how every fucking town folk just has a noose at the ready in their back pockets constantly.
Right?
Yeah.
So Jack was hanged from the crossbar of the gate of the corral, begging for his life and to see his wife. And the year was 1864.
1864.
So just to back up a bit, Travis, how did he die?
He got a hard boner hanging from a rope. Very pleasurable death.
Uh-huh.
Carradine was a big fan of it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a big problem in this country.
Now, there is a little bit of post-mortem. Actually,
Okay.
a bunch of post-mortem about this guy, which is
Great.
kind of interesting. So, Virginia had heard about her husband's lynching and had rushed over to the town, but she was too late. Jack was already cold, so Virginia shouted to the men around her and said, "You trash! You hung him like an animal. The least you could have done was shot the man."
You get what you give.
Yeah, right? I mean, the dude's hanging people, on trees and shit. So,
And also, to be fair, he was shot quite often.
yeah, there's a lot of bullet in it.
Yeah, they were like, we tried shooting him once, honey.
We wanted to do it for real this time. Wow, those are some big tits.
How do you walk?
So Virginia went to the Virginia City undertaker and asked him to create a special coffin lined with zinc. She then placed Jack's body inside the coffin and filled the casket with whiskey.
Okay.
She sealed it, and she said she was trying to preserve Jack's body because she wanted to transport Jack back to Carlisle, Illinois, where he was born.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was definitely welcome there.
Yeah, he just murdered a hobo, and yeah.
Well, he was the town favorite. He really was. That's the one thing we don't know about the story that I will tell you right now. This was the king of hobos.
Got it.
He was the guy who had a lot of money but chose to live outside and asked to grub. And you can always appreciate a man who does that because they are fiscally conservative and a role model to their community.
So she and a farmhand loaded the casket into a wagon and headed out for Illinois. The casket sloshed around, making kind of a Jack
God.
kimchi going on because whiskey does not preserve a body.
No.
It just makes a
dissolves
gross soup of human.
So there's
I love cucumber salad.
there's like a Jack Slade pickle.
Yeah.
Fermenting in this coffin.
Yeah, so Jack
Is he
started
just sitting around in ball jars in museums all over the country?
Jack started to get a little bit stinky by the time they got to Virginia, or by the time they got to Salt Lake City. So Virginia was like, "Fuck this shit. We're just gonna bury him here." Like,
Got too ripe.
ripe. Yeah, he got too ripe. So Jack was laid to rest in Salt Lake City Cemetery, Plot B, Grave 67, and his death date was marked July 20th, 1864. If you live in
Wow.
Salt Lake, send us a fucking picture.
Yeah, please do. Go there and get drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the people around you, i.e. the fucking underpants police, they're going to say, don't show up here with no bottles of liquor, but you can dig in the ground and find a nice pickled gentleman to suck on until you're feeling ripe. And then that's when you ask that chick you've been thinking about, hey, man, you want to go out sometime, get some coffee? Because that's all they got.
Chicks and coffee.
As for Virginia, she had traveled with this farmhand, right? This guy's name was James Henry.
John Redcorn? John Redcorn?
James Henry.
Was it John Redcorn?
No, it's not John Henry. James Henry Cassandon.
Okay.
And they kind of boned a little bit on the way there. You know,
Oh.
while her husband was like basically sloshing around, husband soup in the back.
Not so hard. I can hear my husband stirring.
And actually, this man was one of the people shouting, "Hang him" at his lynching.
Okay. I was
The
going to say,
two-
like, where'd you pick him up? But there we go.
Yeah, the two were married shortly after putting Jack in the grave. And that is Jack Slade.
Did they fuck on the tombstone?
Probably.
Wow.
wow.
Wow. What a fucking... like, why zinc and whiskey? Like, I'm trying to think of, like... it's almost like they have no, like, scientific... Like, not even an inkling of, like, how, like, chemistry works.
So actually, due to postmortem research that I've done, zinc is what they would put. They would make coffins lined with zinc to preserve the body because it has something to do with it eats the moisture.
Okay.
Like,
But then you
it
put
naturally
whiskey
kind
in
of
there and it
mummifies
fucks
them.
it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I don't know why she was thinking whiskey would be a good idea, but zinc is like a common thing if you're trying to preserve the body's integrity a bit, which means that you basically want a husband fleshlight.
No, a husband with the fucking dowel in his penis.
Yeah, and because he was pre-doweled, you didn't have to finick it in, you know? It just really sat there nicely. It probably got sucked into the skin a little bit better, but as soon as you drop that whiskey
Like a
in,
wooden penis tampon.
yeah, you try to have sex with Flan.
Ladies, would you put your husband in a whiskey jar?
I'm
Let
thinking I
us
might
know
like
it.
that.
Let us know at Roast Mortem Cast, Dad.
I would love to be just thrown in a tub of whiskey and buried, but you got to do it quick because I'll start stinking like immediately after I'm submerged.
See, like, I like the idea of being put in whiskey after I'm dead,
Yeah.
but I kind of want, like, I want to watch people, I want people to watch me break up. So find, like, a giant ball jar that you can see through and just
Like a yoga
bunch
ball?
of Tullamore. Yeah, like one of the, like something real big that they just scrunch up my body and put it in, and then put a bunch of Tullamore doing it.
Okay.
And then everyone comes back 6 months after I'm dead, and then they just shake it.
Like a snow
They
globe.
wa-
And-
yeah, they watch my skin turn into fucking beautiful snow.
Well, you turn into human kimchi, like I brought up. It's just
Yeah.
like a shredded beef. You know, kimchi's not shredded beef, but like it's all fucking cabbage and shit.
Cabbage.
It's cabbage.
One thing that I didn't put in my script was this guy actually. So Buffalo Bill was actually one of his apprentices.
Oh, Buffalo Bill
And-
Cody?
Buffalo Bill is like a bigger, or Wild Bill Hickok. Both.
No,
of them.
you were doing Billy the Kid. Didn't you do Billy the
No.
Kid? Those are two different bills.
No, Billy the Kid. But this dude, like Cody did Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
But this dude at the time was bigger than Wyatt Earp. You know what I mean? Wyatt Earp was like popular in the 20th century. This guy was like the dude that everyone knew in the 18th century.
Wow.
He was like the
Okay.
badass, right?
He was like the Bram Stoker, while Wild Earp was like the Twilight.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's Nosferatu?
He is Genghis Khan.
Oh.
He is just coming out. He is gonna fuck the whole family.
until one of them spits out something that looks like him. So, Travis, what did I learn tonight?
You learned that there was a man named Jack Slade, and he liked ears. And that when you pickle a body, you shouldn't use whiskey.
You should also not dry hang fuckers.
Yeah.
That's very inhumane. That's the part I took away.
Yeah, make sure you're their necks break, or you have children, especially children, because if you look at the revolution in France, if your neck didn't break, you'd have children come up and hang on your toes.
Oh yeah, just to add
to
extra
fucking
weight.
try to kill you faster.
Can you imagine?
Well, that's a lot of child murderers they got in France.
Yeah, well, that's how they do it in France. They oui, Madame Pucelle your toes.
That's French.
Yeah, one thing I got to say, what was his name? Billy Ray Cyrus, the guy who shot him in the back?
Yeah,
Benny.
Jimmy. Oh wait, the guy who shot him in the back. Benny. Yeah,
Benny.
Horses are on the other side of the river.
Just never shoot anyone in the back.
Yeah,
Because you can have your gun drawn and just be like, hey, turn around. I'm going to shoot you.
Gonna shoot you.
just shoot him
Look
in the
out.
head.
And that makes a difference.
Yeah.
That makes a difference because you're a coward if you do it in the back. But if you just get them to turn around and be like, excuse me, sir, what time is it? And then shoot them, you're
It
not
looks
a
good.
coward.
Like the CSI team is like, this is an honorable. This is a righteous kill here.
I mean, also you have a shotgun and it spreads out. You just need to shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
Don't shoot him in the chest.
That actually happened to Mark McGrath of Sharknado fame.
Yeah. That guy.
Yeah, that's why his face is pinned back quite a bit. He got the old, this is a heavy hole reference, is a buckshot face.
Oh, lovely. Look at that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jack Slade did not get a buckshot facelift. He just got a chest. He got some triple D chest buckshots.
Okay.
Oh, man, Virginia. I don't know if she actually looked like that, but I am thinking about that. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand what you're saying.
I don't need it. Sometimes I just need a mountain
Also, I learned,
staring at me.
like, I knew whorehouse, obviously. I knew bordello, but I never knew that whorehouses were called a bawdy house until I read this book.
Yeah, that was a thing I learned tonight.
Yeah.
Body house.
Yeah, and I never knew someone would want to call themselves Featherleg.
That I'm still hung up on that one. I'm just like, what did this woman do to get that nickname?
She had the softest knees in all the counties.
But I don't want woman legs feeling like feathers.
Tom, you dated a woman named Molly once. Did she have feather legs?
No.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's Roast Mortem Cast. Tom is very drunk today. Can you sign off, Tom?
Yeah, you want me to sign off? All right, cool. Hey, welcome to Roast Mortem Cast. This is the very end of it right now. Congratulations. Yes. You can sign off. You can make it happen. Travis, thank you very much for bringing in Jack Slade.
You're welcome.
Bringing in.
If there's one thing that I want everyone to pull away from the episode is just pull your dick out right now. Wherever you are in the world, just pull it out.
I feel like half our listeners don't even have a dick.
You got a puss?
Yeah.
Throw it out on the train tracks.
And tie it up to the train
Tie it
tracks.
up. Yeah. Yeah, tie it up.
All right. Well, and also do yourselves another favor. Don't listen to Travis ever. He's a little.
You could sag your nuts on the train tracks too. I'm just saying, I just imagine,
No, I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm also telling our audience right now that I'm a really good friend. I don't care if you got feathers for legs, or buckshot for back, or fucking bennies for heads. It's time to sign out. So good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to Roast Mortem Podcast. Social media, Patreon. That's it. Patreon.com/RoastMortemCast. Everything else is just fake points. We don't need fake points.
No, we need
world.
fake points. Go to Roast Mortem Cast on anything you use.
Google it.
Tom runs the Snapchat. Please send. No.
Send me your feather
Wait,
legs.
no. Tom doesn't run it. Mike runs it, and
Mike
he's not
is
here.
Snapchat.
Send Mike your feather
Yeah,
legs.
send him your feather legs, your moose knuckles, your fucking chestnuts. Send
Your
him
clam
all
jam.
the things.
Get a little dissonant with Mike. It's the only thing he looks
He didn't
for.
do anything
I know
this
he's in
episode.
Philadelphia right now. No, dude, I know him. He's probably up in Philly right now. He's just like, I got a Philly cheesesteak with no onions.
Oh, what a
Just
dumbass.
What kind of life is that?
He needs to learn. He
ties
needs to
it
be an
together.
to be
educated
down
boy.
here. Patreon.com/RoastMortemCast.
Bye, thank you.
You can actually charge us money.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks,
Love you.
Gene. Yeah, thank you, JD.
Are you tired of not paying for your favorite product? Patreon.com/roastmortemcast.
What's a Patreon, you say?
It's a website where fans can support their favorite content creators.
Sounds like a deal.
Deal.
This is only if you got the money.
We got koozies, we got custom obituaries, we got stickers, we have movie commentaries that you download and watch with said movie. It's like you have friends in the room.
What if I don't like history?
You're wrong.
You love history.
How much money can I give?
Anything will help. We like doing the show. We're going to do it anyway.
Mike's losing us money in every corner.
Roast Mortem Cast is here to help you take a load off that wallet.
It's all been arranged just for us to get your money.
I'm telling you that you need to give money to Roast Mortem Podcast so we can do it even better.
Are you tired of exploiting these four men?
Or you could even sponsor. You got a stupid-ass business? I'd love to talk about your business.
I'm too busy to read. Where can I find this podcast?
So call today at patreon.com/roastmortemcast. That's ROASTMORTEMCAST at patreon.com/roastmortemcast.
Yeah, if you want to buy me a beer, that's cool too, you know.